Week 3, baby. Week 3. We are live. We are live. And we got 3. Yes. 3 get right spots this week. First, we got the Bengals offense. It's going to get right against the Commanders. The Commanders have been absolutely dreadful against the pass. Their secondary is terrible. On top of that, they are injured. So we're going to get a big game from Joe Burrow. He's going to get right tomorrow on Monday night. Jamar Chase is going to get right. T. Higgins is back. He's going to have a nice game. We are starting all of our Bengals. We are starting our Bears. The Bears have a get right spot in week 3 as well, going against the Colts. The Colts defense is terrible, especially against the pass. So we could get a get right game for Caleb Williams. He's going to wear the wristband. It's going to make for a more efficient, just operating the offense. That'll make things easier for him. Hopefully the offensive line holds up a little bit better than they have the last couple of weeks. I think we get a get right game for DJ Moore. We might have a breakout week. This could be the week that we get a breakout from Rome Odunze. We are starting Rome Odunze in week 3. This is a get right game for the Bears passing attack, and maybe we get DeAndre Swift rolling as well. And my last get right spot for week 3 is Deontay Johnson. Thank the football heavens for Andy Dalton. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd say thank the football heavens for Andy Dalton, but we're thanking the football heavens for Andy Dalton. No more Bryce Young. That was a disaster. Now we have a competent quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. Andy Dalton's not a good quarterback, but he's a competent quarterback. And he is going to get the ball to our fantasy playmakers. First and foremost, Deontay Johnson. Remember, last year, Andy Dalton started a game for the Panthers in 2023. They let him throw the ball 58 times. 58 times. They're going to be trailing in a lot of games. This is still a terrible defense. Andy Dalton's not fixing the defense. So they're going to be trailing in games. They're going to be throwing a bunch of passes. They're going to let Andy Dalton throw passes, and they're going to be more competent passes because it's not Bryce Young. And when he did, he focused in on Adam Thielen. Now, last year, Adam Thielen was the wide receiver 1 there. This year, it's Deontay Johnson. But Adam Thielen had 14 targets in that game. He had 11 receptions, and he had 145 receiving yards. So we have a quarterback in Carolina that can feed fantasy assets. Thank the football heavens for Andy Dalton. All right, let's get to these questions here. We got a bunch coming in on TikTok. We already got some starting on YouTube as well. If you want me to guarantee that I'm going to get to your questions, because we get a ton on TikTok, it's hard to see them all. We don't get quite as many on YouTube. So if you find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube, come over here, hop in the show, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ask your questions in the live chat. I guarantee I'll get to your question. So hop over, find Yards Per Fantasy. The link is right in the TikTok bio. We're going to get to Perry here on YouTube. Perry is asking, start 2. Drake London, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Brian Thomas, Michael Pittman, or Carson Steele. So basically, he listed his entire team, and we're going to start 2 of them. I definitely want Trey McBride, because if we're talking about get right games, we're going to have a get right game from Trey McBride as well. I'm going against the Lions. The Lions they're like a pass funnel. They're a good run defense, and they're not that good in secondary, especially in the middle of the field in particular. If I have a sleeper this week, it's going to be Greg Dortch, because they're especially terrible against slot receivers. So middle of the field, that's going to be Trey McBride. So I think we're going to get a nice game from Trey McBride. He's had great target share. The role has still been elite, just like it was last year. It just hasn't quite connected yet. I think that happens today. We're going to get Trey McBride. So then it comes down to, are we doing Drake London? Are we going Brock Bowers? I don't think we're ready to go Brian Thomas over London. I like Brian Thomas. I don't really trust Michael Pittman right now. And Carson Steele, I mean, we like as a sleeper, but let's if we have these options, let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see. So we're gonna go Trey McBride. We're gonna go Drake London here for Perry. All right, let's go to BGM Games. You can already tell this is one of the guys who just came over from TikTok because he's already posted his question multiple times. TikTok audience likes to just spam their questions, whereas YouTube is a little bit more patient. So he's definitely coming from TikTok. I promise you, he just came over from TikTok. You can tell. You can always tell they spam their questions. We're going to go J.K. Dobbins or Travis Etienne. This one is a tough one. I mean, Dobbins is certainly the hot play. He's the hot hand right now. However, there are some warning signs here with J.K. Dobbins. One, he's not going to play the Panthers and the Raiders again. He's got tough defenses he's got to play against this week. They're playing against the Steelers, and then it doesn't get much better next week against the Chiefs. And he's yet to play 50% of the snaps. I know he's leading the NFL. He's leading the NFL in rushing yards right now, but he's yet to even reach a 50% snap share. Gus Edwards has more carries. He's averaging 9.9 yards per carry. So as much as I do like J.K. Dobbins, I think he is startable. He's a nice RB2 for you. I'm going to go Travis Etienne. Let's get this one from Joseph. This is a start 2, I believe. I believe this is a start 2. He followed that up a little bit later down the comment. Start 2. Jameson Williams, DJ Moore, or Zay Flowers. I'm going to... Actually, let me pull up my rankings real quick because these are definitely close. These are definitely close. Let's see. Jameson Williams... I like Jameson Williams is happening. Jameson Williams is happening. I have him ranked. So we got Jameson Williams at wide receiver 17, DJ Moore at wide receiver 19, although I do think this is a get-right game for DJ Moore. I want DJ Moore in my lineups. But I also have Zay Flowers at wide receiver 14. So I guess if we have to. So I think DJ Moore is a safer play right now than Jameson Williams, but obviously Jameson Williams has that big boom upside. So if I have to choose 2 between these 3 guys, they're all in my top 20. If I have to, I'm going to go Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Jameson Williams. If I want to play a little bit safer, we can start more over Williams. All right, let's get to Elliot. Elliot's asking Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold. I do think it's a get right week for Caleb Williams, as I talked about at the top of the show. However, I'm not ready to start him yet if I have other quality options like we have here. So is it going to be Justin Fields? Is it going to be Sam Darnold? I think we're going to lean Sam Darnold. I really do. Obviously, we like the rushing upside of Justin Fields, but if that's a low-scoring game, kind of a run environment, they're not required to drop back a bunch of times because they're not trailing by big points, throwing the ball a ton. They're going to keep handing it off to Najee Harris. They're going to keep handing it off to Jaylen Warren. And obviously that not only takes away pass attempts from Justin Fields, but that takes away rush attempts from Justin Fields. Because half the time when he drops back, nobody's open. He's going to take off and run. We really haven't seen that quite yet this year with the Steelers like we have in the past when he's been with the Bears. So for that reason, I am going to go Sam Darnold in a shootout environment against the Texans. I can't believe it's 2024 and I'm telling you to start Sam Darnold. Next up, we got start 2, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr., Deontay Johnson, Zamir White, and Rashid Shaheed. This one, I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson. I think it's a get-right week for Deontay Johnson. And I think we're going to go Brian Thomas. I really do. I do like Amari Cooper. I think things will start getting going for Amari Cooper. He's one of just 3 wide receivers so far this year. He's had more than 20 targets, but less than 20 fantasy points. So I think we are going to go Brian Thomas and we're going to go Deontay Johnson. Obviously, Rashid Shaheed's a really good play as well, but he's kind of boom bust. I know he's given us 2 really good weeks. He's absolutely in consideration here as well. Let me just see who I have ranked ahead. I just want to make sure I'm giving you the right answer here. Yeah, I do have Shaheed one spot ahead of Deontay Johnson. if you want to start Rashid Shaheed over Deontay Johnson, I couldn't blame you. They're going against the Eagles at home in the Dome. Ooh, I might change my pick there. If you want the upside, we got to go Rashid Shaheed. This is why I got to pull up the rankings, because here's the thing. When I'm answering these start-sit questions out of my gut right here, I'm not really thinking it through as well as I am when I sit down, take the time to go through the matchups, go through the data, and make these rankings during the week. There's less emotion involved. It's more logic. I think we got to go Rashid Shaheed. Over Deontay Johnson. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch my pick here. I'm going to go Brian Thomas and Rashid Shaheed. All right. What else we got? We got Dak or Jaden Daniels. I mean, you can't ever go wrong with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is probably about as safe of a play in fantasy football as you get. He's about as consistent as you get at just giving you usable weeks for fantasy points. I have him ranked as my QB 11 this week. However, you can't deny the rushing upside and floor, for that matter, of Jaden Daniels going against the Bengals. I think we're going to go Jaden Daniels. I have him ranked as my QB 8, just a few spots ahead of Dak Prescott on Monday nights. We're going to go Jaden Daniels. All right, how about Brian Robinson Jr. or Zamir White? Now, I know we got the nice matchup, Zamir White going against the Panthers. That's fantastic. They've been torched in 2 weeks. Alvin Kamara torched them, and last week we saw J.K. Dobbins torch them. And it could happen again for Zamir White. However, Zamir White is no Alvin Kamara. He's not even a J.K. Dobbins. And the offensive line in Vegas is certainly not the offensive line that we have in Los Angeles. So I think we're going to go Brian Robinson. He's played really well. He's gotten off to a great start. He's one of my most drafted running backs this year because the ADP just didn't make sense. Just did not make sense for Brian Robinson Jr. This is a guy who should have been going more in like the 6th, 7th round range, maybe even the 5th round, just based on his role. I think a lot of people were overestimating, overprojecting the role of Austin Eckler, where Austin Eckler was not coming in to overtake Brian Robinson Jr. He was not coming to be the RB1. He was coming in to take the Antonio Gibson role. And we saw Brian Robinson thrive alongside Antonio Gibson last year. And we're continuing to see that happen here with Gibson out, Eckler in. It's the same deal. Brian Robinson is the guy we want to play here. All right. Like I said before, TikTok audience, if you want me to guarantee that I'm going to answer your question, I'm going to see your question because we get so many on TikTok. Come over to the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. Just find Yards Per Fantasy on YouTube. The link is right in my TikTok bio. Just one click away, get right in here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, get your question in the live chat. We'll answer it for sure. Because we get a lot less on YouTube, so it's much easier for me to see and follow the questions that are coming in. In the meantime, let's get to Derek. Should we go Isaiah Likely or should we go Mark Andrews? I think that question was answered last week. We saw week 1 where it's like, whoa, what is happening? Isaiah Likely has this big game. Mark Andrews does nothing. But then we're like, you know what? Well, the Chiefs have a history of just shutting down Mark Andrews. So that's what happened. And then we saw things kind of come back a little bit. I mean, Andrews didn't have a breakout game in week 2, but things kind of corrected themselves last week. Andrews was more productive than Isaiah Likely. I do think Isaiah Likely is absolutely usable. He's absolutely startable. He's a guy we want to roster, a guy we want to consider, in the flex, even as a low-end tight end 1, high-end tight end 2. However, I'm still going Mark Andrews over Isaiah Likely. Should we go Goddard or Pitts? I'm going to go Pitts. So I'm still going Pitts. But it's closer than we would have liked coming into the season. That's for sure. This one's from Dylan on YouTube. Should I start Mahomes or Baker? I think we just got to go Mahomes here. Baker's been fantastic, but we got to go Patrick Mahomes going against the Falcons in the Dome on the road. It's much more likely that that game could turn into a shootout than it would if it were in Kansas City. Kirk Cousins looked a lot better this past week. He's looking healthier. If he can take another step forward this week, that offense can continue to grow, continue to be a threat that the Chiefs offense is going to have to worry about and score points and keep up with. So I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes there. I do like Baker, of course, but we are going to go Mahomes. Just for reference, I have Patrick Mahomes ranked as my QB5 and Baker Mayfield as my QB15. That game, the Broncos are kind of like the opposite of the Falcons there, where the Broncos are not going to inspire a shootout by any means. There's not going to be any need for Baker Mayfield to drop back 40, 45, 50 times in that game. They're going to have no problem beating the Broncos. Another one from Dylan here. Should we go Tony Pollard or Derrick Henry? I think we still got to go Derrick Henry. I do think we have to go Derrick Henry. He's going to get a get-right game at some point as well. We just need the Ravens to get out to a lead. That's what we need. We need the Ravens to get out to a lead, hold the lead, dominate a game for once, like they're are built to do, like they were expected to do coming into the season. Because to this point, they've been in negative game script way more than we've expected, and that's resulted in Justice Hill out snapping Derrick Henry in both games because he's the third down back, he's the passing downs back. However, I think the Ravens will absolutely focus on trying to get Derrick Henry going this week. So I'm going to go Derrick Henry over Tony Pollard. I do have Pollard ranked as my RB21, so he's a nice solid RB2 for you. But that could be an ugly, sluggish game going against the Packers with Malik Willis at quarterback. Packers have a pretty underrated, tough defense. I know that the Cowboys have good defense as well, but they were torched last week by the Saints. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, or CJ Stroud? What is this question? We're going Hurts and Allen. I don't know what that is. JSN or Shaheed. I know JSN had that nice little breakout last week, but we still got to go Rashid Shaheed there. I think we got to go Rashid Shaheed. We've seen it 2 weeks in a row from Shaheed. He's got a nice matchup going against the Eagles. Let's see it. Let's see it again. Can we just see it one more time from Jackson Smith and Jigba, please? Let's go Rashid Shaheed. All right, let's get this one from Joanna. 1.5 tight end premium. I'm looking at Brenton Strange. Ooh, this is a grown league question. This is not one of these baby leagues. We just got that question with Josh Allen or CJ Stroud or Jalen Hurts. No, this is a grown up league here. Brenton Strange, Tucker Kraft, or Jalen McMillan. For me, I'm not really considering Brenton Strange. I know he played a pretty decent amount of snaps last week. I believe he only had 1 or 2 targets. I don't expect much from Brenton Strange. That offense just can't get going. So I'm looking at Tucker Kraft, which I would really like Tucker Kraft if Jordan Love was playing. Jalen McMillan, I mean, he didn't do much last week. I think he had, just 21 receiving yards. But the week before, he had a nice little breakout, that long touchdown. He's certainly capable of doing that. But we just finished talking about how that Buccaneers-Broncos game isn't really going to inspire a lot of passes. That's not going to be a high-scoring game. The Bucs should get out to an early lead. They're not going to be playing from behind. They're going to be playing from ahead. So this could be a nice, Rashad White game, nice even Bucky Irving game. This is not the drop back and throw the ball 40, 45, 50 times type of game for Baker Mayfield, which is what I really think at this point in time is what is going to be required for Jalen McMillan to really get there for fantasy purposes. I think we're more likely to get Tucker Kraft, maybe he catches 3 of 4 targets for 31 yards and he just happens to fall into the end zone. One of those comes into the red zone and he scores a touchdown. I think that's the more likely outcome here than Jalen McMillan having a nice game against the Broncos or something happening with Brenton Strange. So for that reason, I don't feel good about any of these 3 players for this week. I'm going to go Tucker Kraft. What else we got? We got Zamir White or J.K. Dobbins. I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. We got this one from Jonathan on YouTube. He's asking, I got Jordan Mason and Devon Achane starting. No way I should put Charbonnet over any of these guys, right? Correct. I agree with that. I have Charbonnet ranked as like a low-end RB2. I think I've got him. I could pull up my rankings, but I know I have him around like that RB20 spot. Whereas Mason and Achane are both in my top 10. Now, obviously, I think Achane takes a little bit of a hit with no Tua Tagovailoa out there because, one, the offense just in its entirety is going to not be as explosive. It's not going to be as efficient. They're not going to see as much red zone opportunities. So that's going to hurt Achane for one, even if they lean more on the run game. However, they're also going to, what I'm worried about is what we've been seeing for the first couple of weeks with Achane. He's getting a bunch of these plays where, Tua Tagovailoa is handling the ball and he's, faking it here and he's going here. He's, doing a fake screen over here. Then he's turning around, throwing it over here to Devon Achane. They're not going to trust Skylar Thompson to handle the football in the same ways that they trust Tua Tagovailoa. So it's going to be a lot more straightforward, a little bit more vanilla offense than what we see with Tua Tagovailoa. They're not going to have, like I said, they're just not going to trust him to handle the ball, faking it over here and bringing it back over here, those types of plays, which was really helping Devon Achane get in space and just be the explosive playmaker that he is. He's going to have to create a little bit more on his own in a more vanilla, straightforward type of offensive scheme than what we see when Tua's out there. With that said, I don't even know why I'm going on a rant about this because we're still starting Devon Achane as an RB1, and we're definitely not benching him for Zach Charbonnet. But I just want to get that take out there. Let's get this one from Zach. Would you start Zach Moss or Michael Pittman at the flex? I would go Zach Moss. We talked about this being a get-right game for the Bengals passing attack. That could also help Zach Moss as well. More points, more red zone opportunities, more efficient offense. That's going to help Zach Moss. He's absolutely dominating the snaps in that backfield right now. We thought maybe coming into the year, it might be more of a 50-50 split. Chase Brown might get more of the passing work. That's not happening. Zach Moss is absolutely dominating the snaps right now. That's going to continue against the Commanders. It's a good matchup for Zach Moss. We're going to start him over Pittman. Pittman, going against the Bears, he could get the Jalen Johnson coverage, which would not be good for Michael Pittman. And then on top of that, he hasn't been productive for the first couple of weeks anyway, even though he is still getting the target share. The volume just isn't there. The efficiency from Anthony Richardson as a passer isn't quite where we need it to be. It's not consistent enough right now for Michael Pittman to really get there. So we're going to go Moss over Pittman. Then we also have a second part to this question. Are we going to go DK? Oh, no. Okay. He's just telling us that we have DK and Amon-Ra as the other wide receivers. Yeah. So we're going to go Zach Moss over Pittman. Let's get this one from Jonathan. Second one from Jonathan. He's also saying, currently he's starting McBride over Bowers. I hate starting two elite tight ends. Hate having two elite tight ends. It's a great problem to have. I'm sure your league mates are very, very jealous right now because most of them have tight ends that they cannot trust. So what I would be doing is I'd be putting one of those guys on the trade block and asking for the world in return. Or just keep them. You might be able to play both of them. Play one in the flex, one in tight end. Let's get this one. Would you go Bucky Irving over Tajay Spears as the RB2 with Pacheco out? We really haven't seen much from Tajay Spears so far, have we? He's been really disappointing. It's been the complete Tony Pollard show. And on top of that, Tajay Spears is coming into the week with an injury. Now, if I'm looking at my rankings, I do have Tajay Spears ranked 2 spots ahead of Bucky Irving. So this one, I would lean Tajay Spears, but I could absolutely make a really good case for Bucky Irving just based on we keep talking about this Broncos Bucks game, where this could just be the Bucks get out to an early lead and they lean on the running game. And that could be enough for Bucky Irving. Maybe in the fourth quarter, he gets 8 carries in the fourth quarter. Maybe he gets in the end zone. Maybe he catches a couple of checkdowns. I might actually go against my rankings and just maybe it's a little too galaxy braining it, but I might go Bucky Irving there. Tyjae Spears is more explosive. He's coming in with the injury. He's got a tough matchup against the Packers. And I mean, we're going to be relying on garbage time for Bucky Irving, which is tough, but that might be the way to go. That might be the way to go. But again, maybe I'm galaxy braining it a little bit too much there, but I think I might go Bucky. Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts there. Rashid Shaheed or Zach Moss. I mean, if you want the safe play is Zach Moss. The safe play is absolutely Zach Moss. It really just depends on what you prefer to do there. Do you want the safe play? Do you want Zach Moss? He's going to give you the nice floor. He's going to have a nice role in a game with a good matchup where the offense should score a lot of points. So there should be opportunities for Zach Moss to score some touchdowns, get some red zone opportunities. Rashid Shaheed has a really nice matchup at home in the Dome against the Eagles on that track field there in New Orleans. The Eagles have been really bad. They're a bad secondary. They give a lot of points to wide receivers. And Rashid Shaheed, first couple of weeks, he's got those big plays. So Rashid Shaheed's certainly the ceiling play there. Just depends. Do you want the floor? Do you want the ceiling? I usually lean ceiling. Tyler. I think Tyler was in the show last night as well. Thank you for tuning in. I believe I saw him on the Coach Approach. So very, very thankful for Tyler. He must be a Yards Per Fantasy subscriber. We appreciate Tyler for sure. Should we start Jerome Ford or Rome Odunze? And should we go Jake Ferguson, Kobe Parkinson, or Zach Ertz? So for the tight end, I think we are going to trust Jake Ferguson. He's coming back off the injury, but he's in the best offense there by far compared to your other options. And they really still don't have a real strong wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in that offense. So I think we're going to go right back to Jake Ferguson in a game that could be a shootout. And both teams have to win. So I think there's going to be a lot of pass attempts, a lot of points scored in that game, which could end up with a couple of red zone opportunities for Jake Ferguson. Now on the Ford and Rome question, part of the question, should we go Jerome Ford or should we go Rome Odunze? I think we have to go Jerome Ford. They're playing the Giants, I believe. They're playing the Giants. It's a good matchup. Now, he did lose some opportunities last week to Deontay Foreman, which was actually a little unexpected after what we saw in week 1. And a little concerning, but I think we still have to go Jerome Ford, even though I do think there's a real possibility, and I don't want to make myself second guess myself here, or you second guess yourself. I do think there's a real opportunity, real possibility that Rome Odunze breaks out today. This could be a real get-right game for that entire Bears passing offense. Going against the Colts in Indianapolis, on that field, on the turf, indoors, have a pretty decent offense on the other side if everything goes right for Anthony Richardson. And the defense, the Colts defense, especially against the pass, is really bad. No Keenan Allen. I could really make a good case for Rome Odunze. I really want to play Rome Odunze, but I think the smart play here has to be Jerome Ford. But again, it really comes down to, do you want the safe play or do you want to just go all in and shoot for the high upside? Because I think that's Rome Odunze. Pittman or Josh Downs? We're absolutely going Pittman. Even though he's gone off to a slow start, he's at least getting the target share. I know Josh Downs, he played well in training camp, but he hasn't been on the field since, midway through training camp. I don't think he even played in the preseason. And I just don't know if the secondary options in that offense are really trustworthy, especially with Alec Pierce having a breakout over the first 2 weeks. So I'm going to go Michael Pittman there for sure. Should I go Jared Goff or should I go Anthony Richardson? We got to go right back to Anthony Richardson. I think what we saw in week 1 is what we're going to get more often than not from Anthony Richardson. And I know he's essentially still a rookie. He's only played 6 games. He's thrown 137 passes in his career. So we're gonna get some of those games like we saw in week 2. We're gonna get some weeks where he still looks like a rookie. He only played 15 games in college. He's only played 6 games in the NFL. Of course, we're gonna get some of these face plant games, but he's got that week winning upside, unlike just about any quarterback in the NFL. The only other quarterbacks that can win a week like Anthony Richardson can are Lamar Jackson, are Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts. Otherwise, it's Anthony Richardson. Now, obviously, his floor is a lot lower than those guys, but Anthony Richardson needs to be started ahead of Jared Goff. Garrett Wilson and Devontae Smith. I think this is just a statement. Let's read it. I have Garrett Wilson and Devontae Smith, so my plan to replace Pacheco is to wait out these A.J. Brown injury weeks, get Devontae Smith's stock way up and sell him high for replacement running back. Thoughts on that? Yeah, I don't mind that plan at all. I mean, I'm a very heavy 0 RB drafter, so I'm totally cool with just like, let's see what we can get off the waiver wire. Let's see if we can piece it together. Let's have a strong receiving core and just see what we can make happen at running back. But that's also a solid plan. Absolutely. Evans or Jennings? Woohoo! We got to go Mike Evans here. This could be a nice Juwan Jennings week. He's going to do a lot of blocking. That's for sure. But with no McCaffrey, no Debo, no Kittle, we're going to get some Juwan Jennings opportunities here. I mean, if you have Juwan Jennings, you certainly want to play him. This is the week to play him, going against the Rams with this opportunity. However, not over Mike Evans. No. Should I start CJ Stroud or A-Rod? This is in reference to Aaron Rodgers because he missed the boat there on that one. He's already played on Thursday. Or Kirk Cousins. Definitely CJ Stroud. Stroud over Cousins for sure. Diggs or Evans? We're gonna go Mike Evans. Rome Odunze or Demarcus Robinson for the flex. This one I'm going Rome Odunze. We're going Rome Odunze. We don't know exactly how the pecking order is going to work out there with the Rams. I do think I would lean Demarcus Robinson over Tyler Johnson, over Tutu Atwell, but we don't know for sure. Rome Odunze is the wide receiver too. We do know that. No Keenan Allen. This is a get right game. If we're ever going to get that breakout week for that Bears passing attack, it's going to be this week against the Colts. So I'm going to go Rome Odunze over Demarcus Robinson pretty confidently there. Play 2 between Waddle, Pittman, Neighbors, or Tank Dell. This one's pretty easy for me. We're going to go Neighbors. Who cares about the quarterback situation? He's getting peppered with targets just like we predicted coming into the season. And we're going to get Tank Dell here as well. I know it's tough. With Tank Dell going in. He's got the competition with Nico Collins. He's got Stephon Diggs in the offense as well. It is a little bit of a difficult matchup. The Vikings defense has played pretty well. But I think that's a much more likely shootout environment. And we just got to go Tank Dell. He's been so close. To having a couple of good weeks. This could be the week where things kind of finally connect and things happen there. All right, we got 2 minutes to go till kickoff. We're going to go rapid fire through these questions. Rapid fire. We got to get these done. Devontae Adams or Malik Neighbors. Whoo! I want to go Malik Neighbors. I want to start them both. But I'm going Malik Neighbors over Devontae Adams. Maybe it's crazy, but I'm going Neighbors. London or Ladd. Let's go London. Jameson Williams or Mike Evans. I think we still got to go Mike Evans, but I like Jameson Williams. I have him as my wide receiver 17 on the week, but I got to lean Mike Evans. Start White or Swift. I want to go Swift. Swift has had a really nice role. It hasn't happened yet, but I think it might happen this week for DeAndre Swift. Derek Carr or Anthony Richardson. We still got to go Anthony Richardson. Carr has been ascending. He's been playing well, but we got to go Anthony Richardson. He's got that week winning upside. Mahomes or Murray. I think we lean Kyler Murray there. I think we lean Murray. Swift or White. Didn't we just answer that one? We went Swift. What else we got? Mahomes or Murray. We already got that one. Should we go Anthony Richardson or Sam Darnold? I'm going to go Anthony Richardson there for sure. I do like Darnold this week. I think he's a high-end QB2, but we still have to go Anthony Richardson just for that big boom upside. We saw it in week 1. Week 1 is why we drafted him. I know week 2s are going to happen, but week 1, we saw that upside. We got to trust that could happen at any time, so we got to play Anthony Richardson. Jaden Reed or Michael Pittman? Jaden Reed or Michael Pittman? I would like Reed a lot more if it wasn't for Malik Willis. But then again, we also have Michael Pittman going against the tough Bears defense. He's going to get the Jalen Johnson coverage. I'm pulling up my rankings here because this is a tough one here. Michael Pittman. I don't even remember who the other one was in the question. Jaden Reed. I think we got to go Pittman here. We got to go Pittman. I do have Pittman over Jaden Reed just by a few spots, but it's close. I got to go Michael Pittman there. All right, it's 101, kickoff time. Enjoy your weekend of football. We got a double header on Monday night. Make sure you're checking out everything we're doing at yardsperfantasy.com. If I didn't get to your questions, you can find my rankings. We have a start-sit tool at yardsperfantasy.com. Just go to yardsperfantasy.com/start-sit. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. We got a bunch of content coming out throughout the week that's going to help you win in week 4. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great weekend of football, and see you next week.